Blitzers, Nerf Clan. Well, it is time to do a little state of the game discussion, and got two videos that I think will summarize them well. The first is here by Arthur, and it is at Fort Despair. He is driving the B2 with his alt Prowler, and as you noticed, Arthur is AFK. Happens to us all. But he gets going, and what you're going to see Arthur do is pretty amazing. Now, the state of the game, I got very frustrated with this game last night. You'll see in a second why. But there's a couple of things that Wargaming has done that I'm just going to talk about. I don't know that I'm going to really discuss how bad or important they are. Nice ram there. But you're going to realize Arthur went AFK here, and he is going to just tear apart this team with the B2. Now, why? Well, Arthur is a very good player. Clan lead, for those who don't know that. And this is his alt, as I said. It's got about 1,000 games on it. His son plays on it. And what happened here about, I think about 6 to 8 months ago, may have been longer, may have been less, was that they introduced, Wargaming did, some changes to matchmaking that basically added a noob matchmaking. And it was designed for people who really didn't know what they were doing. And I think the idea behind this was that it was to help players who don't know what they're doing, and rather than destroying tiers 7, 8, 9, 10, for regular players, they would be in this. Unfortunately, that's definitely not happened, and you'll see that in this way. This is all they managed to put together players who all had about 1,000 or less games and who really didn't know what they were doing here. And Arthur awesomely takes advantage of that, and I'll start talking about his game in a second. But the problem with this is they pull these guys out, and that's a good idea, but I don't think they do it for tier 9, 10, or 7, 8, 9, 10 for that matter. And so it worked here. But as you saw, Arthur was AFK for about a minute. He jumped in. His entire team is still essentially in spawn. Their team essentially moved up a little bit, but spawn-ish. And Arthur in a B2 is by far, and he's a nice non-scope shot there. He hasn't really pushed. It's been almost 3 minutes since this game has started, 2.5. And it's a 3-on-6 right now. I mean, the game's over. Arthur's team just kind of went up to that typical little hill there with that overlooks the spawn. You see him back there doing just nothing, and Arthur's asking for their help. Remember, Arthur was AFK for the first minutes, so they had plenty of time to do anything. They just don't know what they're doing, and that's kind of expected. The problem is, what do you do with this, right? Because first of all, not that many good players obviously play tier 3-4. But what do you do when you have newbies trying to come up the tech trees? And back when they did this, right when they made this change, is when they shortened all the tech trees. So now you can easily get to a tier 7, 8 in 200-300 games, where before, frankly, it would take you forever. And the reason they did that is because to get more players in. And this is what I'll just kind of say. Nice shot, Arthur. Arthur is at 3 kills, by the way, folks. It's a 2-on-4. The reality is, Wargaming's only job is to get people to play this game and create excitement behind it, which I totally agree with. I think at the end of the day, it's a game. That's all this is. And it's a fun game. We have a good clan at Nerf. There's a lot of good clans and great players that submit me their replays, but it's a game. Last night I was watching Zeta and the Rain folks tear apart the other teams, and you watch some true skill, and that's why you have tournaments, and that's what you have tournament play. I think at the end of the day, Wargaming's job is to bring more players, and there's Arthur is encouraging politely his players to move, to play, and that's what they're doing. All right, let's get in this game. It's 2-on-3 now. The game has gotten remotely interesting. Arthur is down to 173 hit points. He is targeting this Lago there, and he clears him. He needed to clear that Lago because the Lago actually has decent alpha for the tier. It's now at 2-on-2. Arthur's teammate is a complete and utter idiot. He doesn't even know which way to point the gun, how to drive, how to shoot, how to aim, how to do anything. So Arthur's got to do this all his own. He does a nice job here of using this rock for shield and protection, and then kind of using his meat shield of that player. By the way, I think Arthur is one of the top matches. In fact, let me check that right now. And yes, because we just started Season 2 of the Hall of Fame 2 for 2021. For whatever reason on BlitzStars, so this would be the #1. However, Arthur's alt is not eligible because it has less than 5,500 battles, so unfortunately you won't be able to see this magnificent replay other than here. And so Arthur, anyway, he lost his noob, and so his noob is dead. He's got a 1-on-2, he's got a PZ3 who luckily bounces him. The PZ3 is a good tank with decent alpha for the tier. Arthur pops him, but Arthur notices one thing, that his other noob over there is just sitting in the PZ4G. The PZ4D, not a bad tank, but look at this poor noob. I mean, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Arthur is playing carefully. He's down to 175 hit points. The alpha on the 4D, I think, is pretty high. It's like 130, 140. So don't want to get shot by this thing. but this guy doesn't even know how to point his turret. And hey, I was new at this game once. I remember thinking to myself, this is a hard game. I can't even figure out what the hell I'm doing here when I was new. So that's what's going on here. So Arthur gets a Raseiniai for this account, clears 7 tanks, masters the PZ2, which is actually not easy, in his Prowler account. And take a look at these players. I mean, all of them have, 523 battles, not all necessarily bad players, 577 battles, 130 battles, 239 battles. So you can see, while I click through them, you can see that literally all these players were brand new and less than 1,000 battles. Arthur was by far the most experienced, especially since this is a reroll. And I don't mind this. I don't have a problem with this. I think this is the right way to do things because you don't want to put, someone with 35,000 games who's seal clubbing with others. And there's ways to mitigate that. So I think that there's nothing wrong with this, and I congratulate Arthur for beating the fuck out of some people. Now, unfortunately, I think there's a bigger problem with this game, and this is just general for wargaming, that they just don't take action on things that, ruin the game. I was with my mouse yesterday, excited to take out my favorite Tier 10 Heavy. And if you saw the flamethrower on there, I was very excited. And look what I see in the rear as I try to see where people are going. I got an M60. The guy's caused, the last Subordinate or something, and Android. Both of them are in Blue Clan, and it's a troll clan. I'm sure Wargaming knows that. The M60 here is actually, believe it or not, the last Suburban or whatever his name is actually the clan lead of this clan. And he and his friend, who are also in the clan, are blocking in our T95 for absolutely no reason. Now, that's bad enough, and right now we're down 3 players. I stupidly go help, and I would encourage you guys, if you see this in the future, don't go help. I actually believe the whole thing was rigged. I don't know these 2 other players that they were tuning against, the IS-4, Hot Bobby, and Big Wood 72. But interestingly enough, both of those guys jumped right into camp. So here I am trying to help a T95 actually be able to do something. You notice the E50 gets in my way, and they're shooting. This is just a block. These are just trolls, 2 trolls. Now, I reported this to Wargaming, and it's easy for me to follow that. These guys can play because I can follow them on BlitzStars and see if they have any games, or if their clan remains. Their clan should be torn apart. By the way, as I mentioned, the 2 opposite tune, guess what the opposite tune was doing? They jumped into cap. And they capped this before I get a shot off. You can see what's going on here. And you'll see that we had, I believe, 6 guys without damage. Now, these things ends up on Reddit, and everybody thinks it's amazing and how terrible this team is. Nothing I can do here. Nothing. What I should have done, I guess, is go play. I would have died. It would have been a 1 versus 7. I don't know what the hell my team was doing. Look at this. We had 6-0. So this Lab Suburban guy in Blue Clan, you guys can all fuck yourselves. All they do is try to ruin the game and troll. I reported this. If Wargaming does nothing, I guess there's nothing we can do. It's a game at the end of the day. But people like this who just purposely do this, I wish they would find more interesting things to do with their lives. State of the game's fine overall. I like it. It's a good game. It's fun. But the things like this, Wargaming needs to act on. Otherwise, it could go down the opposite way. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.